We are on day 30. So we wanted to tell y'all what this experience of Whole30 has been like. For me, it was my second round. Joe was his first. And we just kind of wanted to answer questions that we've been getting from our friends and our family that want to know more about Whole30. And we know there's just...
Don't do it.
Right? So Joe has mixed emotions about it. So tell us about that, Joe. What do you think was the hardest part so far for you?
Just adapting to the things you love to eat on a daily basis. It's the sugar, no sugar, the no wheat, no dairy. So just the adaptation to that. But the first couple weeks was actually fun because you get to try different recipes. You're kind of excited about it, and then after 2 weeks, you're like, "Why the heck did I do this?" Overall, it's a positive mission to go on.
There's a lot of people that call it like tiger blood the third week. They say like the first week's fine, the second week's still kind of fine, and then that third week is the hardest from there because it's like you kind of start losing a little bit of steam, and it's like you're like on this high for like, oh, I'm doing something cool, and then you're like, man, I just miss. For me, it was cheese. Like, he's the sweet tooth, but I definitely love chips and cheese, and oh my goodness, that's like my two favorite things. So everybody's gonna have different cravings, but usually the hardest day is the week 3.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So let's start off with a question.
What do you got?
What was your most surprising moment of the Whole30 program that you didn't expect?
I think I got a little cocky like the first couple weeks, and I was like, this isn't near as hard as like the first time I did it was back in 2018. And so I was like, this is a breeze. Like, something's changed like within me that I'm just not having as much of a struggle with this. And then it was like when it was that time of the month and like my hormones were like, it was, I kind of, for the first time, had that same response that you were saying, like, why am I even doing this? I just want to eat food. But it went away. I think it was really related to like what was going on just with my, monthly cycle.
Yeah. And I had to pay drastically.
Whatever. He was my support system.
Yeah,
so when I had that day,
he
when I was down, he'd lift me up. When he was down, I'd lift him up. So it's good to do this with a partner, I think, too, because before I was doing it, I wasn't, in 2018, I wasn't doing it with anybody else. So it's definitely been more fun, I think easier, and
we can hold each other accountable, which is
totally
makes another reason why
That's
you're
true.
doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest surprise, because I'll answer the question. Well, I'll say a question. She'll say a question. Then we'll both answer.
Okay.
It, right?
Sounds good.
Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
My biggest surprise was really learning about the labels of the food and how much sugar is in pretty much everything we eat. We're a sugar
That's true.
addicted society. Every little thing has added sugar. And I'm talking about added sugar. So that was the biggest surprise, is just how much added sugar.
Yeah.
Because I was reading that I think the Heart Association says males are supposed to not have more than like 35, 36 grams of added sugar. Females, 25 grams of added sugar per day. And I mean, you can do that in one snack outing.
Yeah, I think he was actually reading the box on the Cheerios this morning, and that's basically like one bowl of Cheerios.
It's like half.
Like what we feed our kids. So it's like, maybe we need to see if we can find a better cereal for them.
So that was the biggest surprise for me. So that was my question. Now you have to ask me
one
a
more
question.
thing real quick though I want to add to that. Surprise-wise, I was really surprised that
how much better looking I got.
You know, that's true. That's another subject. We'll get there. But first, when so I got sick. Well, we both got sick, and so we were like, oh my gosh, we need some medicine. My throat hurts. My head hurts. What can I take? And I was like scrounging through my medicine cabinet. I'm like, these all have stinking sugar in it. And so I'm like, what is going, and dyes. Everything has like coloring. And so that was a big surprise for me. I was like, why does everything that's supposed to make you healthier have stuff in it that makes you unhealthy?
We eat a lot. We live in a society that we eat a lot of crap.
Right. Okay. So that was just my last end note.
That was a good addition.
Thank you. So my question for you, Joseph, is I want to know what's your favorite breakfast? Because you were a breakfast guy. That's your favorite meal.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Oh yeah, I love breakfast. I love kicking the day off with a good breakfast. I did miss the breads and the sugars, of course. So what we did is a lot of the meals I made, eggs was a big staple of the breakfast meal. Probably this morning.
That was good.
We made the chicken sausage, apple sausage with sauteed onions, red peppers, yellow peppers. It was in ghee. And then I had eggs, farm fresh eggs. Actually, the vegetable, everything was in olive oil and the eggs were in ghee.
Yeah. He's become an egg connoisseur too.
And then we
have egg questions.
Yeah, it's crazy the differences
reach out
in the quality of eggs and the nutrients within those eggs. But then we added some avocado to the plate, and we added, of course, salt and pepper, some fruit.
It was really good, and he served it to me in bed, so that made it double good.
I think that's it. That was. I mean, again, you appreciate the food differently in Whole30.
Yeah.
Because this stuff might not be exciting to you, but when you're going through it week after week, I mean, you really look forward to those flavors, the little nuances of the ingredients that really stand out to you.
Right.
Where before, this meal probably would be blah, 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 bland.
That's true.
But it was actually... So I think your taste buds kind of change, the appreciation of the ingredients change.
Yeah, he was saying, like, yesterday he was eating a pistachio, and he was like, I never had such deep appreciation for a pistachio, because it's like you're just so bombarded before with like sugar. It's like when you start eating things without sugar, you're like, eh. But then eventually your taste buds shift and you're like, wow, this is really good. So, to answer that question on my end, I would say my favorite breakfast is a breakfast that I have always made, even when I'm not doing Whole30. It's super simple. It's fruit with walnuts. So I use bananas, blueberries, and walnuts. I put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and for whatever reason, something about that being warm is so good to me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I really like that. So
yeah, that is good. And that'll give you a good, it'll fulfill your sweet tooth too, with the dates and even the banana, ripe banana.
Right.
So it's kind of a sweet breakfast also.
And the crunch. I'm a crunchy person.
So question number 3.
Yes. Let's hear it.
And I'm going off the cuff here. So what would you have done different, or what do you wish you would have known beforehand if you could go back, reverse?
I know exactly what I wish I would have known beforehand.
How bad this?
No, it's
sucks?
not. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
With a little bit of struggle. So that just makes us stronger.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have told me that they make a Whole30 approved cream cheese, because again, cheese lover, and we didn't even find out until last night that they make a cream cheese out of almond milk.
Yep. And the name, we can probably put a link at the bottom
below if you want to check that out. It's Kite Hill.
Really good.
So
I actually that's another thing to add. The breakfast that I had, I put a spoonful of that on the eggs.
And that's KIT. Yeah. He says I pronounce it wrong, but I think he's wrong.
It's kite.
It's kite.
For some of the English language speaking people.
Whatever. So, anyways, what about you?
I wish I
In
would
the
have
beginning.
known about the different coffee creamers, because I think
Mhm.
we're big coffee drinkers. We love coffee in the morning,
Yeah.
and there's so many different quality coffee creamers you can have with Whole30 that kind of fit the realm.
Yeah.
But it took like weeks and weeks of trying different ones, and I think that Malk is a good
Mhm.
one. There's a couple other good ones, but it took a while to get
Totally
to know
agree.
that.
That was my
So,
favorite.
bottom line is, it took weeks of practicing and trying different things.
Mhm.
And if I would have known that beforehand, we could have kicked off the Whole30 program with
Yeah.
the stuff that is probably, we enjoy more.
Mhm. I agree.
But nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Okay, next question is coming from me, and I'm going to ask, what is your biggest takeaway that you're going to carry with you after the Whole30?
That's a very good question.
What are you going to
That was
carry
gonna-
on?
That was going to be my question.
Oh, I'll be too.
The biggest takeaway that I will take
Mm-hmm.
with me is I'm going to read the labels more,
Mm-hmm.
because what's on those labels is crucial. And I've learned so much about what those ingredients mean, what they do to your body, how they spike your insulin, or how they affect just the way your body functions in certain ingredients. So I'm going to probably that's my biggest takeaway, is reading the labels and kind of understanding what is on those labels.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned a lot with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure I even have anything to add to that, because that's exactly what my answer would have been too.
Really?
So, same.
And I will come up with one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good?
Let's hear it. Actually, I have two in my mind, so you tell me your question and we'll see. You may want to add to it. We'll see.
Now,
I'm a little more long-winded than Joe.
Yeah, Whole30 is, and yeah, you are, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whole30 is very restrictive. It's probably the most restrictive diet there is. That's why I'll never do it again. Besides the learning process, what it does to your body and the things we've learned, it did force me into that area, which I appreciate. But I think my question would be, if you could alter the Whole30 program and make it a little bit less restrictive, which route would you go? What would you add?
Cheese. Simple as that.
Okay, is there any specific cheese or
All the cheese.
all the cheese? I already knew you were going to say that,
So,
but now you
of
guys
course.
know.
Yeah. What about you?
I would add.
Sugar. That's like the basics of the program.
I'd probably allow
Maybe a natural.
legumes and maybe oats or
That's
wheat,
true.
some kind of grain.
Yeah, oats aren't that bad.
Or legumes.
Especially
you
like
can't even
legit,
have,
organic, real oats.
Yeah, and another thing that, just to
Mm-hmm.
top it off, this whole conversation, is when you're quitting cold turkey, my biggest miss was probably, and that could be a question too, what's your biggest miss? What was your biggest? Cheese. Well, mine was, the sugar. I'm a big sugar guy, so I did miss the sugar more, like in the breads and
Yeah. My last question that I wanted to add is, why did we do this? What's the point of it all?
So I like to challenge myself every year, and
So that.
I think we're going to continue to challenge ourselves every year. This is just one way to kick off the year. Let's throw something at us. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It teaches you something. It gets your mental strength
Yeah, totally.
enhanced, I think. Just adapting. And another reason was to draw closer to the Lord. It's kind of a fasting opportunity too.
Absolutely.
So when those hunger pains or those cravings come, you can look to the Lord for guidance and strength.
100%. And that's what you would tell me too on that pink day. You were like, just lean on the Lord, just go to Him. That's what it's for.
I know.
That's what you're supposed to do for the fast.
And then I found her in the bathroom chowing down on cheese, reading her Bible.
Didn't happen. You can make some stuff up sometimes.
And what's funny is, another crazy thing, if you slip up once, which we're not going to talk about that,
Yeah.
If you slip up once with this
The
program,
rules.
yeah, you have to start all over.
Yeah.
So you make it to day 29, you accidentally slip up and taste something that's not Whole30 approved, you got to start over.
Can I tattle on us? Is that okay?
I'd probably keep that to ourselves.
Okay, well, never mind. Okay.
No, go ahead. You can say that.
So I was making the kids pasta, and I was like, I threw it at the wall to see if it was done to stick. Do y'all do that? So it stuck, but I still was like, I just naturally, out of habit, I grabbed it and I said, "Here, honey, let me know if this is done." And he ate it. I felt like it was like Adam and Eve.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was
like, "Here, eat the apple, eat the pasta," and he did. He tasted it, and we had like a good 3-minute conversation over how it was done. And then he was like, "Honey, I'm not supposed to eat that." So
Yeah, it was exactly like Adam and Eve. Eve, I was in the garden, which was our kitchen, and she took that precious pasta and gave it to me. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like, what did I do?
And then we kind of just said, hey, that's between us. Let's
But
not
now
talk
it's
about it.
on camera. So
But,
there went that.
you know, we're not, there's a lot of strict rules with Whole30, and you can go by the book.
Mhm.
You can go on their website and see.
Yeah.
What is it, Whole30.com, and see all the
And
rules.
we decided when our church gave communion, he leaned over and he said,
Yeah.
"Are you gonna eat that? It has wheat in it." And I was like, "Of course." Like, you know, like my priorities are like
Yeah, so don't beat
Jesus
yourself
first,
up. Don't beat
diet
yourself up.
somewhere down here. So I want to answer that question, and then we will close out. So the reason I did Whole30 is I love like just resetting the year, and like I've got all these goals to tackle, and to be healthy like just puts you in a better mindset to tackle the other things in life. We have 5 kids. He's busting his butt working full time. We're playing taxi all the time. And so it's like just to feel better by eating healthier foods is so good. And what happens to your body whenever you do Whole30 is your gut heals itself, because your gut is so used to all this crap that you put in your mouth that you know, it starts eating away at the lining of your stomach, and, you know, your good bacteria, bad bacteria gets off kilter. And so to be able to not have sugar and dyes and all that junk, your body is like rejuvenated. So it's not that like, I'm never planning on having cheese again. I just wanted to reset my body to be healthier so that I can do the other things that I love in life, and, you know, with my best potential in that regard too. So that's all I've got. Thanks for listening. Joe, you got anything to add?
I don't know.
All right. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. We would love to support you guys if you decide to do the Whole30 or anything that's resembles Whole30.
Yeah, I got a lot of advice and critiques, and
That's for another day.
I'll totally speak my mind.
He will. Bye.